Welcome to the True Guy Globe Brief Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for updates. Jerusalem, Israel. The air stands still as the first light of dawn gently brushes the ancient stones. The city, usually alive with movement and sound, is hushed in anticipation. On this solemn day, a siren wails across the nation, its piercing sound echoing through every street and alleyway, uniting millions in a single shared moment of remembrance. Cars pull over to the side of the road, drivers step out, and pedestrians freeze in their tracks. For a brief, powerful moment, daily life halts completely. For 2 minutes, an entire country pauses. The silence is profound, a collective act of memory and mourning that stretches from bustling cities to quiet villages. This is Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, a day set aside to confront the darkest chapter of human history. It is a sacred time to honor the 6 million Jews murdered by the Nazis, to remember not just numbers, but mothers, fathers, children, and entire families lost. The silence is heavy with memory, with grief, and with a promise to never forget and to ensure such horror is never repeated. In the halls of Yad Vashem, world leaders, survivors, and their descendants gather together, united by sorrow and by hope. 6 torches are lit, each flame representing 1 million souls lost. The light flickers, a symbol of both remembrance and resilience. Names are read aloud, one after another, a litany of lives cut short, dreams unfulfilled, and stories left unfinished. Yet amidst the grief, a story of hope emerges. The sunlight breaking through the clouds reminds us that even in the darkest times, compassion can shine through. It connects Jerusalem to a distant archipelago in Southeast Asia, the Philippines, where a remarkable act of humanity unfolded. On this day, Israel honors an act of unexpected compassion, a gesture that crossed oceans and defied the indifference of the world. The Philippines is remembered as a nation that opened its doors when others closed theirs, led by President Manuel L's courage and empathy. It offered safe harbor to Jewish refugees fleeing Nazism, giving them a chance to rebuild their lives and find hope far from the terror in Europe. The siren fades, but the memory lingers. The candles burn on, their flames a testament to the enduring power of remembrance. Some chose indifference, others hatred, but a few, like the Philippines, chose courage and humanity, standing up for what was right when it mattered most. This is the story of that choice, a bond forged in desperation and kindness, celebrated every year on this solemn day, reminding us all of the difference a single act of compassion can make. Every Yom HaShoah, the world recalls the horrors of the Holocaust. But in Israel, the story of rescue and sanctuary is also told. Among the righteous among the nations, the Philippines stands out. In the late 1930s, as Jewish families fled Germany and Austria, most nations closed their doors. The Evian Conference showed the world's apathy. 32 nations, but few offered help. The Philippines, a small commonwealth facing its own struggles, took action. Its leaders saw a humanitarian crisis that transcended politics. They offered a lifeline when the world turned away. This act of moral clarity is why the Philippines is honored. At Yad Vashem, the Open Doors Monument stands as tribute. The story is taught to Israeli children and recounted in ceremonies. It's a celebrated part of the Israel-Philippines relationship. The Philippines' place of honor reminds us, courage is measured by empathy, not power. Even a nation with limited resources can make a profound difference. This legacy endures as a beacon of hope. The architect of this remarkable and compassionate policy was Manuel L. Quezon, the first president of the Philippine Commonwealth, a leader who would soon face one of the greatest humanitarian crises of his time. In the late 1930s, as the world watched in horror, Quezon was deeply moved by the plight of Jews suffering under Hitler's brutal regime. He saw the refugee crisis not as a distant political issue, but as a profoundly human tragedy that demanded urgent compassion and action. Despite facing strict American immigration restrictions and vocal local opposition, Quezon remained resolute and unwavering in his commitment. He declared, "When the time of need came, our country was willing to extend a hand of welcome." These words would become a guiding light for his actions. Working closely with U.S. High Commissioner Paul McNutt and the Frieder brothers, influential Jewish-American businessmen, Quezon devised a bold and secretive plan. Together they arranged for the issuance of visas for skilled professionals, families, and settlers, offering hope to those with nowhere else to turn. Their ambitious goal was to welcome up to 10,000 Jewish refugees to Mindanao, a region in the southern Philippines where new lives could begin. Quezon personally lobbied in Washington, tirelessly pushing for approvals and negotiating with American authorities to make the rescue possible. Tragically, the outbreak of World War II and the Japanese invasion of the Philippines cut the plan short, halting further arrivals. Still, about 1,300 Jewish refugees, later known as the Manilaners, found safety, shelter, and a new beginning in the Philippines. For these men, women, and children, and for their descendants, Quezon's courageous decision meant the difference between life and death. His bold gamble saved lives, proving that moral courage and empathy can truly change destinies, even in the darkest of times. The Philippines' open doors policy remains a powerful testament to leadership guided by conscience, compassion, and a sense of justice. It's a story of risk, resolve, and rescue, a chapter in history where humanity triumphed over fear and indifference. Quezon's legacy is not just measured in numbers, but in the countless lives saved and the generations that followed. His choice echoes through generations, reminding us that one act of courage can ripple through time and inspire hope for the future. To truly grasp the impact of President Quezon's actions, we must look beyond the numbers and statistics. We must see the human faces behind the stories, the individuals and families whose lives were forever changed by a single act of compassion. Imagine Ruth, a young Jewish girl living in Berlin during the 1930s. Her world, once filled with laughter and routine, was suddenly upended by the growing shadow of persecution and fear under Nazi rule. For Ruth's family, hope arrived in the form of a letter, a distant relative in the Philippines offering a lifeline. It was a glimmer of possibility in a world closing in around them. Desperate for safety, they sold everything they owned, furniture, heirlooms, even cherished mementos, to afford passage to a land they had only heard about in stories. The journey across oceans was long, crowded, and filled with uncertainty. Yet, each mile brought them closer to a chance at life, to a future that was no longer defined by fear. When Ruth finally arrived in Manila, she was overwhelmed by the tropical heat, the bustling streets, and the vibrant colors of the city. But what struck her most was the warmth and generosity of the people she met. Filipino children greeted her with open smiles, and neighbors, strangers just days before, shared food, stories, and kindness without hesitation. For the first time in years, Ruth's family felt a sense of safety and belonging. The fear that had haunted them began to fade, replaced by hope. Ruth's father, once a respected doctor in Berlin, was able to resume his work, caring for both fellow refugees and local Filipinos, bridging two worlds through healing and service. The refugees were not merely tolerated, they were embraced as part of the community. Locals and newcomers gathered together, sharing meals, traditions, and dreams for the future. Small acts of kindness, an extra bowl of rice, a helping hand, a comforting word, restored their faith in humanity and reminded them that compassion knows no borders. Ruth's story was just one among many. Hundreds of families found new beginnings in the Philippines, each carrying their own memories of loss and hope. Together, refugees and locals rebuilt lives from the ashes, opening businesses, forming friendships, and creating a vibrant, diverse community. For children like Ruth, the Philippines became a place where innocence could be reclaimed, and where the simple joys of childhood returned, even after so much darkness. The human face of refuge is one of hope, resilience, and deep gratitude, a testament to the power of kindness in the face of adversity. These stories, woven together, are the true legacy of President Quezon's open doors, a legacy of lives saved, communities transformed, and humanity restored. Jewish refugees in Manila found a world unlike any they'd known. They settled in Malate and Ermita, building a vibrant little Europe. Synagogues, schools, and businesses sprang up, blending old traditions with new surroundings. Refugees became doctors, bakers, and shopkeepers, contributing to Philippine society. Filipinos welcomed them, sharing food, customs, and friendship. The spirit of pakikipagkapwa-tao, shared humanity, defined their relationship. Refugees, in turn, enriched Manila's cultural life with concerts and lectures. They were not isolated, but woven into the city's fabric. This period showed the power of community and mutual respect. Together they built bridges that would endure even as new challenges loomed. In December 1941, the Japanese invaded the Philippines. Manila became a war zone, hope and security vanished. Jewish refugees and Filipinos faced the same terror, food shortages, disease, violence. The Japanese, allies of Nazi Germany, imposed harsh restrictions on the Jewish community. Some were imprisoned, all lived in fear. In this crucible, bonds deepened. Filipinos and Jews helped each other survive. They shared food, hid one another, and offered medical care. The Battle of Manila in 1945 brought devastation, killing over 100,000 civilians, both Filipino and Jewish. They suffered and died together, their shared trauma sealing their bond. They were no longer just hosts and guests, but comrades in survival. This chapter forged an unbreakable solidarity. Sometimes small symbols capture the spirit of a story. For refugees, the sweet taste of a Philippine mango was a symbol of welcome and hope. Prayer united both communities. Quezon's Catholic faith inspired his actions, while Jewish refugees found solace in their own traditions. The Open Doors Monument in Israel stands as a tribute to the Philippines' courage. 3 open doors symbolize the path to freedom offered by Quezon and his people. These symbols, mangoes, prayers, the monument, are living reminders of kindness in dark times. They show that compassion is a universal language. Even simple gestures can create ripples of hope across generations. Israel remembers the Philippines out of profound gratitude, Hakarat Hatov. The Philippines offered help when the world was silent. Quezon's decision was an act of moral courage, not political gain. Israel honors this as righteous leadership. The story resonates with Israel's own identity as a nation of refugees. The Filipino welcome is seen as embodying the spirit Israel strives for. This annual tribute is more than diplomacy, it's a genuine bond. It teaches new generations about true humanity. The story is a cornerstone of the Israel-Philippines relationship. Israel remembers because the Philippines showed the world what compassion looks like. Their actions remain a profound statement about the best of humanity. The Philippines' rescue of Jewish refugees is a timeless lesson. It reminds us that compassion is strength, not weakness. This legacy is a source of pride for Filipinos and inspiration for the world. It proves that even small nations can make a difference. The story challenges the idea that national interest must trump decency. Leadership is measured by principle, not power. We must keep these stories alive, as a call to choose courage over comfort. This is not just a Filipino or Jewish story, but a human one. It is a testament to the light that shines in darkness. Let us ensure this story of courage and connection is never forgotten.